Okay, I'm starting out this hour by having you take out last night's homework. It was 10.3 day one. And at the top of the page, this is in the notes section, right at the very top, there was this problem. Not this problem. That's a great practice problem, by the way. If you want an extra one of those, it's awesome. And how would you get the key? It's not a homework, so you can't look at the homework key, but it's part of the one where you could look at the completed notes if you wanted to see how to do that one. But again, I'm telling you to not do number two, but you are going to do number one with me. And in a moment, you'll have a partner. What's different about this one? Why are we doing this one? This is kind of like the lamppost that got tilted, kind of like that problem in the past. And here's the main moment. You'll realize, wait a minute, that's not a right triangle. And so if that's not a right triangle, I'm going to have to draw in other triangles, right? But the problem is that if you draw right triangles around the outside of this one, you won't have the sides or the angles for them because you don't have the compass rose thing happening. So you won't be able to get the angles. So here's the solution to this conundrum. I know, conundrum. You go like this. Boom. What did I just do? I dropped a perpendicular. And I made a what? A right triangle where I know a side, don't I? And I have an angle, don't I? See how dropping that perpendicular makes this a right triangle where you know a bunch of stuff. Now, it doesn't directly tell me my answer. As usual, it gives me a piece of the puzzle. You'll be able to find that side then. And then where's the next right triangle? Well, in case you didn't notice, since these two are on a straight line, if one's 90, the other must be 90. So you got another right triangle here. All right. Don't try to do the triangles are on the outside on this kind. The triangles on the outside works great for the bearing kind of questions, but not for this one. All right, so you're going to work on that one. And then one more thing. I'm going to have you work on the very last problem that I did not assign before, but I am assigning now. I mean, the title of the homework was The Wedge. I never actually assigned the wedge because I wanted to talk it through a little bit and then have you do it in class so I would know you got it done and had time to work on it and everything. Okay, so today's important because we're introducing those last two kind of things. The wedge really isn't like something startling. It's just a 3D picture, and the triangles in it are kind of strange. I hope these triangles jump out at you. And that's pretty easy, right? I mean, that's a triangle where I know an angle. And then do I know a side? Yeah, because that could be transported over here. And now I know a side and I know an angle. But that isn't the real challenge. The real challenge is finding the length of AE. Where if I draw it in here, it's going to let me erase. Apparently not. AE is this guy, which is a part of this triangle. And that's a little trickier. But at least you've got some help because you'll have one triangle that's got a side and an angle, the red one, and it can help out. All right, so you're going to work on those two problems, the very beginning of the assignment and the very last one, and that'll add to the problems that you already did at home last night, I hope. And we're going to give you some time to work on that right now in class. And then we're going to be doing some grading of some assignments from the past to get something in the grade book. And just so you know, the test is not tomorrow. It'll be the next day. Once I made that decision, it was easy to say, okay, now I need to get some homework in the grade book because it's been a while. All right, so anyway, right now you're adding a couple problems to this assignment, the first and the last. These two rows, would you please slide next to each other? We'll find you guys partners in a second. These two rows, slide next to each other. These two rows, slide next to each other. And that leaves, would you please come up to the front here? And you two guys can work together. Would you guys work together? That would be awesome. And that would work. And then would you just work with the people behind you and make a little group of 3 there? All right. Now you got some time. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of coaching on one of these. And then in a moment or two, we're going to be grading. So, if you would, could you slide back apart from your partner? And We're just having you work on your own for a minute here. Remember me saying that I like to pull out the triangles? I'm going to pull out the black triangle out here. And I'm going to label it with its sides, A, or its corners, B and E. That's the black triangle. And there's the blue triangle. I'll pull that out here. It's a right triangle, even though it kind of doesn't look like it. It's a perspective thing. And then this angle was 50. And then I don't know one of its sides, but I can get that from, wait a minute, on the black one I did know something. I knew this was 500. And that's it. And then on the red one, I pull that out, and it's a long, skinny triangle. Here in just a second. Eraser's not working. Okay, so that one's going to be 20 here and 500 here. And whenever I do this, I look and see, well, which triangle can I use? Don't get discouraged when you're like, well, I don't have any angles, so, well, other than the right angle. So I can't do that one, I can't do that one, but I can do that one. And then that will lead to something. Okay, so I do that one, and by doing it, I mean, I'm going to label some of its sides. I'm going to call this side, instead of a variable, I'm going to call it EF, because that's what it goes between E and F. Okay? And then I'm going to label this side ED, ed. Okay? And then I don't want to show you every single step of this thing because it's going to just be too painful to watch all the way through. But I'm going to help a little bit for the people at home that are missing out today and didn't have a partner to work through these. So for this, I'm going to say that from this 20-degree perspective, it's probably good to find ed by using sine. Sine of 20 would give you opposite, which is 500, over hypotenuse, which is ed. And then I can say, if I switch these two places, I can say that ed is 500 over sine of 20. And let me see what that comes out for me. 500 divided by sine of 20. I got 146.2. Can anybody verify that? You got a 146? All right, awesome. So ed ended up being 146.2. Now, that's not the answer to the whole question. If you're looking for the final answer, that's not it. Question, though. Okay, hold on. Oh, yeah, I missed a 0. That's awesome. Thank you for catching that. I thought I typed in 500, but I typed in 50 divided by sine of 20. And I'm sure some of you probably just thought, he hasn't written the last number up there yet. Yeah, 1461.9. And the 0.9 could easily be rounded. 1.9. I see how 1.9 was rounding to 2 before. But I'm going to say the final answer on this one, 1461.9. All right, so that's not even my final answer. That's why this is in honors pre-calc. This is not easy. All right, so I got one of my sides, though. And where does ED show up next? If I label this, the blue triangle is A, and D was at the right angle, and then E. Oh, there's ED again. And ED is 1461.9. And then I've got a side on this triangle. Once I solve that one, the triangle A, or the side AE will be found. And once we find AE, well, that was like half the problem. Find the length of AE. Cool. And then once we have that side and this, that will go here. AE will go here. And then I'll be able to find this angle right here, which was the other part of this question. Okay, so there's just kind of like a big picture. You always start with multiple triangles, only one of which is actually going to probably work. And then that triangle leads you to everything else. Yes?
How did you know that angle EDA was 90 degrees?
All right. Because of the nature of a box, I hear you. It never said that that was a 90-degree angle. But like if you look at a box or a wedge would be the same idea. If I take this box I can tell you that every angle on here is 90 degrees. The only thing that would change is when I chop it down to be a wedge, a couple of the angles aren't 90 anymore. But that's one of the ones that was like running this way. That angle is still going to stay 90. So it's just one of those things where if you're, I hate to use this, but if you're good at seeing things spatially, you can see that even though this angle is changing because it's been cut down to be a wedge, that angle didn't change. That angle's still a 90. But you're right that it wasn't like given. We just had to know that from how a box works, or in this case, a wedge. All right, that's enough on that. So now this is the part where we grade. For Pete's sakes, I gave you a whole bunch of time there where obviously you could have polished up your assignment. So we're also going to grade a different assignment. We're going to grade 2 today. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video for a bit, and we're going to do some grading. And then I'll come back on probably in a bit after that. If I never come back on the video, that means I didn't do it much more than just grade homework today. So today my main goal was to show you 3D problems again, and especially to show you this kind of question where, right there, where you can draw a right triangle inside on the lamppost kind of question. If you got those two things, then you learned what I needed you to for today. All right, pausing. Okay, so we have finished grading, and I'd like you to take a look at the homework for tonight. It starts right here. And this is more of that 3D. This is something that's definitely present on the test, stuff that you have to be able to handle 3D pictures. And if you're really struggling with that, I just want to remind you about my office hours. You can come in and get extra help on Wednesdays, which is tomorrow morning. Like, you don't have to be invited for mass, you can just show up. Or Thursdays, which is the day after that. Okay, I'll be here both those 2 days, and the test is Thursday during school. So you got 2 chances to come in for extra help if you're struggling. All right. Moving on to the next slide on this one. It's a little bit painful to try to draw these pictures, but that's what the test is going to be like. You have to be able to do that. If you just immediately go flip to the key to see how it's set up, sure, it'll go faster, but you won't have experience in drawing pictures. Okay, so try hard to draw this picture, but don't suffer for too long before you check the key and see if you're doing it right. Okay? All right. And then this one, I think it's the last one. Yeah, that's the last one. And again, it tells you this in a kind of a strange way. You have to figure out what they're asking, and then it's not like a super hard one, really. All right, so there's 3 more practice problems for tonight. So tomorrow in class, we have a review for the test. I might take a few minutes and go out and take some data down for our first lab, which is about right triangles. Big surprise there. And it's going to be about finding the height of the commons. So you would be taking an angle measurement up to something really high, like right on the ceiling, and then doing a special, like you move to the side and take another angle measurement. And all we do, if anything, tomorrow is just get the data. And then you'd have a bunch of time, like maybe in the neighborhood of a week, to actually do the lab. But we might tomorrow steal some time out of tomorrow to get the data. Okay? All right. So hopefully you caught on to one thing today. That's if you have a problem that was like this, and you were like, but wait, I don't have a right triangle. There's another way to make a right triangle from a non-right triangle, and that's to drop a perpendicular. And it also makes immediately 2 right triangles, this blue one, and it would make this green one. So that's another way we haven't been using till now, because from my experience, those bearing problems, it works a lot better to do the triangles on the outside. But for this kind, it works a lot better to drop the hypotenuse, or drop the, what is it called? Drop a perpendicular, they call it. All right, and the wedge problems, seeing those 3D pictures inside of a 3D drawing, that can be hard for some people. That's all we needed to accomplish for today. And that's all I got for the video.